In this session, we will discuss about flow control statements if, else, elif, while, break and continue. So what are flow control statements? Flow control statements helps to decide which Python instruction has to be executed and under which conditions. So these are the different flow control statements: if, else, elif, while, break, continue, for and range. For and range will be discussed in the next session. Coming to the first one, if statements. If statements clause will be executed if the condition is false. If the condition is true. If the condition is false, the clause will be skipped. In this simple flow chart, you can see that if name is equal to Alice, if the condition is true, it will print hi, else if it is false, it comes out. So this flowchart is simply executed with just these two lines of code. If name is equal to Alice, it prints hi Alice. Now after if clause, it is optional to give else statement. When the else clause is executed, only the if condition it will be executed only if the if condition is false. The previous program is now altered, or just you add two lines of code, else and print. So if name is Alice, prints hi, else it prints hello stranger. Now let's see this in the MU editor. Let's execute this code. As you can see, since we have hard coded name is equal to Alice, it is printing name is Alice. Let's change this to something else and execute. Now since name is equal to Alice, condition is false, it comes to the else part and execute name is not Alice. Now else is optional, you can also remove this, or let's just comment it. Execute this. As you can see now, again the else is optional, it will not give us any error. Since the name is, the condition is not met, it will not print this line and the execution just completes. Now coming to the next flow control statement, elif. Elif is similar to else if in other like in other programming languages, except that now we use it as elif. So the previous program is now altered in this way. Let's look at it in the MU editor. We have just made some modifications to the previous program. Ask the user to enter the name. We are also asking the user to enter the age. And what is important now here is age is a number, so it's very important to do explicit typecasting. As we have discussed in the previous session, typecasting helps us to change the data type. Sometimes it's implicit, in some cases you have to do explicit typecasting as shown here. Age, since we want it to be an integer data type, we have to type here int. Now if the name we entered is Alice, it will print hi Alice. Suppose the name the user entered is not Alice, then it comes to the elif condition where it checks for the age. If the age is less than 12, it prints this. If even this condition is not satisfied, it comes to the next elif statement. If the age is greater than or equal to 30, it prints this line. Even if this condition is not satisfied, it comes to the next elif, where if the age is greater than 50, it will type this condition. If suppose all these if conditions are not met, it comes to the else. Now else again is optional. It can be if else statement is given, then if the rest of the if elif conditions are not met, then else statement will be executed and this line will be printed. Let's execute this. Let's give a name. Let me give a name which is other than Alice. Let me give some age. Now since name, this condition is not met, now it comes to this section. Now 23 is not less than 12, so it comes to the next elif, where 23 is greater than or equal to 30, no. Again it comes here. 23 is greater than 50, no. So it comes to the else condition and it prints this line. Let's execute this with a different input. Let's give Alice as the input and age as 11. Now you can see if name is Alice is met, so therefore it prints this line and it doesn't get into rest of the elif conditions or else condition, and the execution is completed. Let's give another input. Let's give some name and let's give the age as 30. Now since the name is not Alice, this condition is not executed. Now 30 is not less than 12, but 30, this condition is true and therefore it prints you are not Alice and age is more than or equal to 30. So elif keyword, when you're using elif statement, you need to use the elif keyword. You need to specify the condition here and need to mention the colon sign at the end of it. And very important, whenever you're using any of the flow control statements, to take care of the indentations, else it will give you an error. Suppose you remove this indentation, it makes a completely different meaning, or it may give a syntax error like this: expected an indented block. So be careful with the indentations. Coming to the next, looping statements. While loop ensures that it executes a block of code over and over again until the while statement is true. So this is the decision diagram. While spam is less than 5, as long as this condition is true, it will keep executing these two lines, print and increment of spam. Once the condition is false, it comes out of the loop. So this flow diagram is implemented through a simple line of code like this. They have assigned spam is equal to 0 while spam is less than 5. In this case, 0 is less than 5. Yes, therefore it will print hello world. Now it is automatically incrementing spam is equal to spam plus 1. Again it goes back to this. Now 1 is less than 5. Yes, again it executes this. So let's try to execute this code. Spam is equal to 0 while spam is less than 5. Make sure to give a colon here, and we are printing hello world. Let's increment spam. So now let's try to execute this program. Save it. Now execute. So you can see that as long as the condition is true, this statement was executed. So how many times hello world will be printed here? 5 times. For the condition spam is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. For these values of spam, that is why 5 times hello world will be printed. Let's do a better another program using while loop. In this program, we have set the name variable to an empty string. Next, we are checking the value of name. Is it equal to your name? If it is not equal to your name, then these two statements will be executed, where you are asking the user to type in the name. So these two statements will be executed as long as the while condition is met. Let's execute this. Since name was earlier empty, or it was an empty string, that means it was not equal to your name. So the condition has been satisfied, and therefore it is asking the user to type your name. So let's give some value. You can see that it again goes back to the while condition. Since this condition is not satisfied, I have given a value which is not equal to your name. So again I'll give something. So it will keep executing this while loop until the condition is satisfied. Now let's say I'll give your name. Since now name is not equal to your name is not satisfied, this condition is false, it comes out of the while loop and it prints this line, which is thank you, which is outside the while condition. Coming to the next, break statements. Now break statements are executed always used within the loops to cause early execution or early termination from the loop. So if suppose there is a condition within a while loop, and for a certain condition you want to terminate out of the while loop, the best way is to use the break statement. Let's see an example to understand this. The previous program is now altered this way. Let's execute this. As you can see, while true is a condition, that means this condition will always be true and it will go into this while loop. So the while loop will keep executing as long as this as long as name is not equal to your name. Let's execute this. Please type your name. As you can see, it keeps continuously asking us to type our name, as the name is equal to your name is not satisfied. Now let's give name your name. Now since name is equal to your name is satisfied, it now executes the break statement, and break statement causes termination from the while loop. So once the statement is executed, it comes out of the while loop and it prints thank you. Coming to the next one, continuous statement. Now continuous statements are also used within the loop. The difference is when continuous statement is executed, the control goes to the beginning of the loop and the rest of the statements after that continuous statement will not be executed. Let's see an example. A similar program like before, while true, that means this condition is always true, where when the condition is true, it is asking the user again to type in the name. If name what we give is not equal to Joe, then it will execute continue. So once continuous statement is executed, all these statements which are part of the while will not be executed and the control comes back to the while, where again it checks for the condition and executes. Let's execute this. So it's asking who are you. I'll just type in something which is not equal to Joe. Now this value is not equal to Joe, and therefore what happened, continue got executed. Since it got executed, all these statements did not get executed and it went back to the true loop, and again it is asking the user to type in the values. So you can see it keeps continuing until I type in the value Joe. So once I type Joe, you can see if name is not equal to Joe will not be executed, and it comes to this part. So continuous statement is not executed. Now it is coming to this part where it is asking what is the password. So it's giving us a clue. Suppose I give the password as swordfish, break statement will be executed and therefore it will come out of the loop. So let's give the password as swordfish, and you can see the execution of break statement caused the termination from the while loop, and the control went to this line where access granted is printed. So please keep trying various examples using if condition and while condition, and keep trying all different kinds of variations you keep doing. Try to work with different conditions to understand the working of the various flow control statements, and try to be more clear with the difference between break and continue statements. Thank you.